Now let me give you an example of why being repeatable and storytelling is important. I was invited to speak in Saudi Arabia, and there was about 2,000 people in the audience. I was on a panel. Now, mind you, it's my first time in Saudi Arabia. I don't really know the culture there, whatever. I show up, I'm on the panel. They ask me, Yasser, how do you help clients become better speakers? So I shared a story of a Saudi client that I had and how I helped them. After I finished, I wrap up my stuff. I go back to my hotel room. I pack up and I'm going to the airport. I'm in the car and my phone rings from an unknown number. I pick up the call and it says, is this Mohammed? My first name. I said, yes. Mohammed, where are you? I said, I'm on the way to the airport. No, go back and wait at the lobby. I have no idea who's on the other side of the phone, by the way. I said, are you sure I'm the Mohammed? There's a lot of Mohammeds in Saudi. just making sure. So I go back, and the moment I get back at the hotel, there's an SUV waiting, and a guy has my name on it. I say, okay. So I get in it. The guy doesn't speak English. So I take a photo, and I send it to my girlfriend. Hey, just so you know, if I disappear, geolocate this or something, I don't know. So I take a picture. We go into this building. I met with more security. They escort me into another room where I'm sitting, and once again, I don't know what's going on. So I'm sitting there for 30 minutes. Soon after I hear footsteps, and this person walks in, and he says, Yasser, there you are. And I recognize him. It's the Minister of Communication of Saudi Arabia. And just so you know, he rubs shoulders with these people you might recognize. The CEO of Meta, the CEO of Google, the CEO of Microsoft, and the CEO of Speak Like a CEO as well. So now I'm thinking, what the heck am I doing in a room with you? What is going on? And he said, Yasser, apparently you said something on stage earlier today and my phone has been blowing up to hire you. What the heck did you say? I said a lot of things. I just talked about my story about how I help people with their public speaking. So I told him the same story. He said, great, I've got a minister on my team who could use your help. Can you help him? I said, great. I worked with him for 6 weeks, amazing results. He said, man, this has been great. Can you come and help my whole team? Now I'm flying to Saudi Arabia and I'm training the entire government there. Off of one single story. One single story. So what happened that made me go around in circles and people were talking about me? The story made me repeatable. People could talk about it. So that's what a success story is. A story of how you have helped a past client so they can see themselves in their shoes, all right? Imagine you're in a meeting with a client. You are going to paint a picture with the story of what's possible for them based on what you've done before. Then they're going to go and talk to their family. I talked to this firm, this firm, this firm. They all said basically the same thing. But the person at Richter told me a story about someone in my exact same situation, and this is what they helped me do. Let's talk about storytelling. I'll need you to write down. This is going to be our most intensive part yet. Very easy to remember. It's called the 5 Ps of storytelling. You can use this for client stories. You can use this if you're going on a date. I don't know. You can use it anywhere you want, okay? So here's how the 5 Ps work. Any story must have characters. You talk about your people first. Who was involved in the story? Who were the characters? So in this case, I was speaking to a client from this industry. They needed help with XYZ. Introduce the characters. Then you talk about the problem. Now, this is the part that most people completely gloss over. They skip this just so they can get to the part where they can talk about what they do. Think about a superhero movie. Imagine a superhero movie that spends 5 minutes on the villain. Not a good story, is it? So when you can think about a problem, the bigger the pain, the bigger the payoff. The bigger the pain, the bigger the payoff. So if you're going to tell a client story, they were in this situation, and this was happening, and this was happening. They didn't know what to do. Then we came in. As opposed to, yeah, they needed help with estate planning, so we helped them out. I don't care. I have no stakes in the story. So build the problem as much as you can. Next up. Next up is my clicker dying. Process. What did you do? The client came up with a problem. What process did you follow? You sat down with them, blah, blah, blah. You helped them out. Then what was the payoff? The payoff is the opposite of the problem they came in with. They came in with an inefficient tax strategy. They were losing a lot of money. You did XYZ strategy with them. Now they're in a position where they're saving ABC money. And the last point, and the most important one, What is the point of your story? Because sometimes you'll tell a story and the point people get from your story is completely different than what you intended. So tell them. So the reason I'm telling you this is because we can't help you with tax planning. We can't help you with estate management, whatever it is. Fundamentally tell them what it is. So to give you an example of all of these, I'm going to let you write your own story. This is Mr. Jeffy B. You might be familiar with him, Jeffrey Bezos. Watch how closely he follows this exact structure. This is not a success story, but you will see all the 5 Ps.
I've been studying with my roommate, Joe, who also is really good at math. And the two of us worked on this one homework problem for 3 hours and got nowhere. And we finally said, we looked up at each other over the table at the same moment. We said, Yo Santa. Because Yo Santa was the smartest guy at Princeton. And we show him this problem. And he looks at it, he stares at it for a while, and he says, cosine. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, that's the answer. And I'm like, that's the answer? And he's like, yeah, let me show you. So he brings us into his room, he sits us down, he writes out 3 pages of detailed algebra, everything crosses out, and the answer is cosine. And I said, listen, Yo Santa, did you just do that in your head? And he said, no, that would be impossible. 3 years ago, I solved a very similar problem, and I was able to map this problem onto that problem, and then it was immediately obvious that the answer was cosine. And that was an important moment for me, because that was the very moment when I realized I was never going to be a great theoretical physicist.
All right. Good story, huh? That's the only thing I remember from that entire hour-and-a-half interview, just a story. But did you see just how tactically he used all of the 5 Ps, right? Before you go and write your own story, I want to show you some added measures that can make a story a bit more enticing. The first one is you have to make the story relevant to the client. So let's say I am teaching you public speaking, and all of my examples are about high schoolers that I've taught. Even though it's the same mechanism, you're thinking, okay, great, but I'm not a high schooler. How is this going to apply to me? So whatever story you choose, if let's say you're working with a client in the mining industry and the person you're speaking to is also in the same industry, use that story. If they're a couple, tell them a story about a couple, whatever's most relevant. Number 2, be specific. A lot of people think they're telling stories. What they're really doing is telling you a sequence of events. A client came to us, they needed help with tax planning, so we helped them. That is not a story. That's a sequence of events. So be specific. A client, Michael, depending on your confidentiality, came to us, he needed this help, blah, blah, blah. Be as specific as you can. The third thing, emotion. Make them feel something. You've already tried this today. Do you want them to get excited about it? Do you want them to feel sad about it? What do you need them to feel? Typically, it's going to be a roller coaster. Dialogue. This is going to change your storytelling. Instead of saying, yeah, the client told us to do this for them and then we told them to do this. Instead of saying the client said, hey, I don't know how to deal with this. Can you help me? And then we said, yes, we absolutely can. This is dialogue. It makes it sound real, like it actually happened. So include dialogue. And lastly, any story needs to have change. If your client is at a certain position at the start and at the end of that exact same situation, there is no change and there is no story. Now, if your client was in a certain situation, they work with you and they're worse off, do not tell that story. Okay? So ideally, the change is positive.